But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's shuffle on to another topic which doesn't have a stinger because I did not notify you about this one. Culture by accident. It's my fault. But we're talking about this. Star Wars producer Howard Kazanjian decimates Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, and Lucasfilm's sequel trilogy. They didn't understand the story. Now, I know, Nick, you don't want to talk about Star Wars anymore. I get it. But isn't this hilarious?
Yeah, I heard. I heard about this. I haven't read the article. I don't know the details of what was said or what happened. But I heard that Howard Kazanjian had made some comments or something.
Well, here's what it is. Star Wars producer Kazanjian completely decimated the Walt Disney Company's handling of the sequel trilogy, noting that the filmmakers behind The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and I quote, didn't understand the story.
I agree.
So he's done loads. Producer of The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Rookie, Demolition Man.
So he's
things that you love.
OG guy.
Yeah, he's a Hollywood legend, basically, in that regard. So J.W. Rinsler did Howard Kazanjian, A Producer's Life. And Kazanjian says in that, and I quote, generally speaking, I think that the filmmakers on The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi didn't understand the story. Yep. Understatement of the century, but yeah. They didn't understand what a Jedi Knight was all about. That's the simplest way to put it. Skywalker's the story. And I think that's what they failed at. I'm not talking about just Mark Hamill as Skywalker. It's the overall psychology story of Skywalker. And of course, the Jedi Knights, the ardent fans, know more about the storyline than the filmmakers.
100%. 100%.
What a legend. Absolutely pissing in Lucasfilm's face. Absolutely. What do you think? Come on, take it away, Nick. I think you'll have some fun with this one.
He is spot on, and it's nice to see somebody, especially an OG like him, just come out and call a spade, and kind of take a shot at them. He's 100% correct. Unfortunately, we don't have a DeLorean or any way to turn back the hands of time to go fix that or slap some people around and get things changed. So it is what it is. The damage has been done. And, I think a lot of people probably understand and feel the same way he does that are in Hollywood. They probably just aren't going to say anything publicly. But I appreciate and respect the fact that he came out and made those comments, because a lot of people probably wouldn't.
Oh, it's so good. I love it when people have achieved everything they want to achieve and they just don't care anymore.
Yeah, and they're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say and do what I want now.
It's so good. There's very few left that are so old school in Hollywood that can do that these days. But when they do come out and say these things, it just it warms my soul. It makes me so happy because they don't care. They're not worried about toeing the line. And he's right. Yeah, like the fans do know more about it than the filmmakers did. Culture, you look like you want to say something.
Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, for goodness. Is that all you got to say?
Well, it's the truth. I think I say that every stream when we talk about Star Wars. Star Wars is dead. Star Wars has been dead for a long time. They keep kicking the corpse, trying to make it animated. And it takes an authoritative voice, and as you suggested, somebody who's done enough and is done with taking it anymore because he doesn't need to achieve anything else, and just going out there and saying what they believe. It's not anything that the rest of us wouldn't agree with or say. And I not only did they not understand the story, they bastardized the story, for lack of a better term. And if they did understand the story, then they willfully destroyed it. So it's an interesting idea, but I mean, now we're doing, Monday morning quarterback activity here. And we've been doing this ourselves and amongst this community forever. You know, I mean, so much so that you know, people like Nick and Coach have to like figure out what else they can do because Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, completely.
And the fact that you're expanding into other stuff that's sci-fi and genre and stuff, Nick, more power to you, bro. We'll always support you.
entertainment-based news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
EBN.
exactly. Yeah. Which actually, when I was in Vegas talking to Gary Nerdrotic, he actually suggested that we do that starting back then. That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we probably should have, but we were like, well, you know, Mandalorian is coming out, you know, Ahsoka, all these other Book of Boba Fett, you know, so there's actually a lot of good stuff that we're looking forward to. And good God, man, Kenobi, you know,
naive.
yeah, and now, you know, looking back, it's like, wow, we got so much garbage with like some sprinkles of some decent stuff in there, but that's just not enough to dedicate a YouTube channel to, not for us anyways. So yeah, we're expanding and moving on to other things for sure.
Oh dear. Right.
I'm expanding, but I'm not moving very well because I'm fat.
You want to chime in on this, bud?
This is just par for the course at this point. I think it's funny when somebody who was involved with classic Star Wars takes a dump all over Disney Star Wars, and they all kind of say the same thing. They just don't get it, right? Like that's and it's all the same stuff we say, right? I mean, and I don't even think that these guys are necessarily listening to us or anything like that, but they just understand and they're coming from the same place because it's pretty clear, you know, that, you know, it's just, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, the more people that were involved with the original Star Wars trilogy come out and say shit about the modern stuff, the better. Cause it's just, it kind of supports everything we've been saying. So yeah. I mean, that's really all we can get out of it at this point. It's not like Disney's going to turn around and say, "Oh, well, we're sorry," or hire any of these people, right? Like, that's not going to happen. So,
still, it is nice to say, isn't it? Warms your soul.
Yeah,
warms you up.
It's kind of like when you're fighting with your sibling and your dad takes your side in the argument, kind of thing. You know? It's one of those kind of things. Like, I knew I was right.